Hey everybody, it's Captain Kyle. I'm here with two very talented, iconic actors. Anson Williams, who you know from Happy Days, and of course, he's also appeared in The Love Boat, Marcus Welby, MD, Fantasy Island, Baywatch, and is a prolific director with directing credits including LA Law, Xena, Beverly Hills, 90210, Star Trek, Deep Space Nine, Sabrina the Teenage Witch. List goes on and on. And of course, Don Most, also known as Ralph the Mouth, who appeared not only in Happy Days, but Charles in Charge, Glee, Bones, Star Trek Voyager, The Crow's Stairway to Heaven, plus is a voice actor in the Fonz and the Happy Days gang, Teen Wolf, and one of my personal favorites, Dungeons and Dragons. How are you guys doing today?
We're alive. Great.
Hanging in, doing okay, doing all right.
That is awesome. Now, both these fine gentlemen will be appearing at Gallatin Comic Con in Gallatin, Tennessee, October 26th through the 27th. And I got a few questions. I don't want to talk too much Happy Days because I know we're going to be talking about that at the con. But I do want to do this, and Don might have to leave a little early, so I'm going to kind of hit him with some questions. Because Don, you were more of like a side character in the first season. But you became a regular in season 2, and you and Anson, your characters were like glue. Was that the beginning of this friendship that you've had for so many years?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're best friends still. And yeah, way back, we went on the air in '74. We're celebrating the 50th anniversary of from when Happy Days first premiered. And yeah, it's 50 years, hard to believe. And yeah, the first season, I mean, I was in almost every episode, but the character was a little more on the periphery, you know. And then as the season developed, it started growing. And then by the second season, yeah, it was even more so. And so I got to have my credit at the beginning of the show instead of at the end, like it was in the first season. Henry and my credits were at the end. It shows you we were not originally maybe supposed to be as big as the characters got, but that's what happens in shows, you know. And yeah, the friendship started then, and it's it's probably more so now than ever. It's great. We're such great friends.
And weren't you Anson's best man at his last wedding? I read something about that. So
Yeah,
and that is awesome.
yeah, that was not too long ago, a little more than a year ago. And I actually stayed over at Anson's house the night of the wedding. The night of the wedding because I moved. My wife and I moved to Colorado, and that was the next day after the wedding, our car was packed to the gills, and we left for Colorado.
I need to interrupt here. I do need to interrupt because here we're having this wedding at our house, right? Everything. And what happened is I don't, by the way, I hadn't owned a suit in years. And I called my brother Don. I said, he's always had a great taste in clothes and all that kind of stuff. I said, I need a suit. So we go down to Men's Warehouse, we get a suit, and we get a shirt that's in a package, by the way, in a package. We go there, okay, great. And I get back, and my wife-to-be goes, well, the shirt, not quite the right color with what I'm wearing my dress. It should be a blue shirt. So I go, okay. She goes, oh, let me take it down. I'll just exchange it. Okay, great. So I don't think about much about it. And here we are, the day of the wedding. Your wife to be is at another place, getting all dollied up, whatever. You're there at your own house, taking all what's coming on to you. Never do a wedding at your own house, okay? Never do it. Anything go wrong is on the groom, okay? So I go, okay, and I go, oh, here's the shirt. I'm gonna put. It looked like a nightgown. Now, Don was at the house at the time. His house, his vehicle packed, going to a new state, everything in his life. And I go, bro. He goes, let me look. He goes through 8 suitcases, and he gives me a shirt, blue smooth. It kind of fits everything I put on, but it doesn't quite fit in terms of the neck. I got a big neck. So put that in, and it's like, so anyway, so it probably looks like kind of a hip wedding because I can't put the tie up to the top. And then I go, holy crap, man. I don't have cufflinks. Your shirt has cufflinks. I got those. I put on the, anyway, I got to the wedding. To this day, I am guilty. Every time we meet, I forgot your shirt. I forgot your cufflinks. It's like I still have them in this area to return them. But if it wasn't for Don, it would be me, a jacket, and a T-shirt for the wedding.
Well, the shirt and cufflinks are yours now.
No, they're not. No, they don't fit. Okay, the cufflinks fit. The shirt doesn't.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll take the shirt. Anyway.
Well, that's one way to acquire a wardrobe.
Oh, stop! No, now you're making me greedy. Greedy? Oh, come on. That is not nice.
No, it is great though that he had everything there. You could have,
No, but honestly, but my brother took everything. He's starting a whole new life in this, going to this other state, and yet, okay, I'm your best man. I'm there, and it's about no more. You couldn't have more convenience, and then digging through all these things to find a shirt that might work.
I was happy to do it, but that shows you, yes, what I mean. We're best friends, and it's amazing after all these years. What a blessing that show was in so many ways.
That is awesome. That's what friends are for, and that is great. Now you are both.
You should write a song. That's what friends are for. Hey Don,
I think they might have that one.
If you like, what do you think?
Yeah, it sounds like
that's a catchy title.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, if it hasn't been done, honestly, URL it. Do something. You're onto something.
Now, it's interesting that you mentioned that because I was just going to say you guys are both very musically inclined. Don, did you sing at the wedding?
No, I didn't sing at the wedding. It wasn't the right. It just didn't feel right. And but Anson and I have we've sung together. Obviously, Anson sang a lot on the show back in the day, and he's kind of, he'll tell you because I'm going to have to leave. He's kind of not really into it, but I'll convince him. I'll coerce him to get on stage with me because I've been doing shows at a lot of jazz clubs and theaters. And
let me interrupt. You're being very low key about this. Don is, I think, the #1 American songbook performer in the country. He is brilliant.
Oh my God!
Do no less than 10 concerts, whatever. Never less than a standing ovation. And honestly, and I sang for a while. Yeah. Then I went behind the camera, directing, whatever. Don kept doing other things, but also performing. And Don is brilliant. His show is brilliant. In fact, he's going to do a big concert in close to my hometown. They love him so much. Here in California, Don is an amazing performer.
Oh, thank you, bro.
It's like you have the baton for something much more than I ever could do.
Oh, well, thanks, my bro. I love doing it, and looking forward to, for the last year. I kind of put it aside while we were moving, and then I was doing a play. But looking forward, as a matter of fact, I spoke to somebody here in the Denver area who's got a great big band, and it looks like we're going to probably do some stuff together so I could do it here in the at this great jazz club here in Denver and some other venues. So that'll be fun. Anyway, I'm gotta go, but I'm sure the two of you can find something to talk about. But thanks for having me.
We're going to talk all about you.
Yeah. Well, anyway, thanks for having me.
I'm proud of my brother, baby. I am.
Look forward to the Comic Con on what is the date again?
October 26th
and 7th. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. See you. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
October 26th and 27th. Yes.
Yeah.
And by the way, Oh my God, in Tennessee, my first guest appearance in Tennessee was at it's actually the new opera, the one not the old opera, decades ago. I have a very heartfelt connection to Tennessee. And I did Dolly Parton's show when she was, had her syndicated show there in Tennessee. And then Dolly and I presented for the ABC American Music Awards. And when I wrote my book, that came out, she was the first one to do a testimonial. So I have an incredible connection to the state of Tennessee, and I'm so happy to be back there for Gallatin.
That is awesome, and that is impressive that she was the first testimonial for your book.
Yeah, and also oh my gosh, what's the name? Oh my gosh, Tanya Tucker. But what's that major festival there? Anyway, we get together there too. Anyway, I've been in Tennessee many times for many occasions, and I have really a true love for the state and the people, and I can't wait to meet everyone again. Hopefully, they remember me through the decades. I'm so looking forward to meeting them again at the event.
Yep, looking forward to seeing you and having a great panel with you and Don and Henry.
Excuse me, you're doing the panel?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Oh, excuse me. Is there a bleep? No, I'm kidding. That's a total kidding. That is total comedy at the moment. Not true. We look forward to having the panel. Yes.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I do have to ask, since in the show, it was you and Don and Ron forming this band. Can Ron sing?
No.
So he did not have any vocals, or if they did, they just had to move his mouth and
pretend.
You
want to know how that whole thing happened?
Oh, please.
Oh, back in the day, not like today, we weren't paid that wonderfully. Okay, it was okay, but it wasn't like. It was like okay, and I've always been one to see what you have, not what you don't have. Don't complain. Find opportunity. Find opportunity in front of you. And I had sung in nightclubs, and I was on many musicals and all this. So I had a music background. And an acquaintance of mine was David Cassidy, and Partridge Family just had finished. He told me how much he did better off the show than on the show by singing on the show. And the first year of Happy Days, the Brady Bunch was still on the air. And I was talking to Barry Williams, and he was saying, oh my God, we're doing so well with the Brady Bunch, whatever singing group. They're going all over the world singing. And they're doing so much better, economically than being on the show. So I thought, I sing. What if I could convince Gary Marshall to put a band on Happy Days? Okay, maybe I could get booked. Maybe I could, do better. Opportunity in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
And one early morning, I found Gary. And I said, Gary, he goes, I don't have a lot of time. I don't know if anyone knows how Gary Marshall used to speak, but it was, I don't have time. I go, it won't take long. Okay, talk to me, walk with me. In 60 seconds, I said, you got girls on the show. You got cars on the show. You need a band in Arnold's. He stops. He goes, a band in Arnold's? What do you mean? I go, I sing. He goes, what, you sing? I go, yeah. And he goes, a band, he says, I used to be a drummer before a comedian. A band, you sing. I go, yeah, are you good? Are you good? I go, I think I'm okay. Interesting. He goes, good idea. There's a show coming up, a fraternity show. Let's see if it works. Go talk with Bobby, associate producer, pick a song. That was it. I went, and he walks away. I go, that's it. I am singing on national television. Then he stops and he turns back to me, but you're singing to a bulldog. what? What do you? He goes, nah, well, I'm thinking, I thought Elvis sang to a bulldog and Ed Sullivan. It'd be kind of cool. And he goes, I believe you're good. I really believe you. I don't have time to listen. He didn't even know if I sang. I mean, he didn't even hear me. I believe you, though, but if you're good, if you're bad, I'm going to get laughs. You're singing to a bulldog. So what do I sing on the first episode of Happy Days? Singing. You're all shook up. Well, bless my soul, what's wrong with you? Bitch, you like a man on a fuzzy tree. My friends see him acting wild as a bug. I'm in love. I'm all shook up. Cut to the bulldog. Right? And they go, well, my hands are shaking, my knees are weak. I can't seem to stand on my own TV. And the bulldog is bored, goes off the chair, right? Anyway, got lots of good comments. Then I was able to sing like on maybe every third show of Happy Days for years. And he put me in charge of doing my songs. So I picked them, we produced them, we did everything. And and what happened was all of a sudden, David Cassidy's producer comes to me, and I get on the same label as Chelsea Records as him, and all of a sudden I'm making this like peanuts a week, and all of a sudden I'm getting booked in concerts. Anyway, everything exploded from that moment of time of just that one conversation with Gary Marshall.
That's incredible. And it's great that he was open to suggestions because, there are, I mean, I haven't dealt with a lot of the directors and producers personally, but I've heard some of them can be a little bit like, no, I don't want to hear your comments, but there are some who, definitely are open to such things. And that is great.
Totally. And I since 85, I've been behind the camera pretty much. 300 shows, Star Trek, Hercules, Xena, 90210, Melrose Place, Secret Life of the American Teenager, all of them. It's a collaborative business. And Gary brought us all together. So much of Happy Days, the success of it, truly came from suggestions of the cast. Henry created his character 100%. That character was not written at all. When he auditioned, he himself created a new character, and they started writing for that character. So, and all of us, every one of us contributed. And more than that, Gary made it a college where he inspired us to learn much more, many more options of the entertainment business. And I've directed since 85. But I'm able to watch, all these incredible directors on the Paramount lot. I'm able to watch them, shadow them, ask questions, and learn the craft of directing, learn the craft of writing. He made Paramount Studios a college for all of us. And if you look at it, beyond just being a cast of Happy Days, way beyond that, look what every individual has done beyond the show. Look what they've done with the show. What Henry has done, Henry Winkler, for children, in so many areas outside of entertainment. And basically, I won't get in all the details. Our show has saved lives. Absolutely, generations are here today because of what the foundation of Happy Days we were able to do. Incredible entertainment, so much has come out of Happy Days, way beyond the show, all because of the inspiration of Gary Marshall. And I'll tell you, Ron Howard, because Ron Howard was the star. When we started Happy Days, he was a star. My God, he was Opie, he was well known. And Ron, with his humility, his professionalism, his caring for the great, his selflessness for the greater good of a show inspired all of us. So between Gary and between Ron, and then I have to tell you, and then Henry, during the course of it, becoming the biggest star in the world. And yet, it was very interesting. On the set of Happy Days, we had like three, or not three, but little basic kind of dressing rooms, plywood, literally no bathrooms in it, plywood, this and a phone, and green carpeting, And Henry became this #1 star in the world, and they offered him the world. And he said, "No, I don't want to change anything on this set because it would change the energy, it would change the connection of all of us." In his superstardom, nothing changed. Same dressing rooms, same everything. Because the greater good was the show. And today, 50 years later, it's 50 years, bro, 50 years. We're a text away. We're 10 seconds away from a response from any of us anywhere in the world. We're great friends 50 years later because of deep friendships and selflessness and making the show greater than us.
That is awesome. It's how everyone should be, is, contributing, supporting each other, and
welcome to America. Welcome to America. You bet. Welcome to America. You bet. That's the way it should be. And yep. In our little space here with Happy Days, it shows you what can happen.
Absolutely. In fact, you're all very talented, but you actually were nominated for a Golden Globe.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. It is, I believe, an honor just to be nominated. So that is very cool. But I do want to talk a little bit about your directing, because I just want to get back because you're talking about, you did Xena and you did Star Trek Deep Space Nine. With the more fantastical properties that you directed, do you approach them a little bit different? Was it a little bit more research that you had to do to know what Klingons are going to do, or Ferengi? Or
Well, it's different. It's one thing. Like a lot of times, if you do your own thing, you're writing your own script and you do your own movie. Absolutely. If you're going into someone else's world, like Star Trek, absolutely, you have to do a lot of research. And so you have to get into their world, educate yourself on the characters, what's going. You have a lot of personalities to deal with. You have a showrunner, you have a creator, whatever. Yeah, but that's part of it. And then it's like, okay, I understand it. Let's make it the best it can be.
Yeah. And has studying those things expanded? Were you not a Star Trek fan before and now you are, or are you just more appreciative of it? Or
it's so funny. And I hadn't watched Star Trek pretty much at all until I started directing it. And now what I love, especially Voyager, the first one I directed was called Real Life, which is one of the most popular. It's when our hologram doctor wanted to know what what would be like to be father of a family. And the exec producer, her last name was Taylor. She wrote the script. She left that year, but it was the first episode I was hired to direct. And he wanted to know what it's like to have a family. So the first one was like a Brady Bunch family. You had to shoot. And he goes, well, that's not real. And then the second family was like dark and this. He goes, that's not real. And then the real family was a real family going through real problems, real situations, real health problems. And he has to deal with his daughter dying. And he felt family and the depth of it and the importance and the connection. And if Jerry Taylor was the writer and exec producer. And I had the fortune of directing that episode. So you had all these different kind of styles, you had the Brady Bunch, you had the dark stuff, and then you had reality. And then from there, I was able to do, many more. And, but that one episode, I stayed with me.
And Robert Picardo is a very
Oh,
talented.
Robert is great. Yeah,
So
it's great. Yeah, yeah. But anyway, getting back to why Star Trek, also I realized even using sci-fi, it's such they write about such human needs and priorities. The series really is about moralities and living life right and the purpose of life and friendship and giving before taking. All that is incorporated in that series through sci-fi.
yeah.
And I became a huge fan.
Well, that is great. We now share that in common. I'm a big Star Trek fan as well.
Did you watch Deep Space Nines too?
I'm sorry?
Did you watch the Deep Space Nines?
Yes.
Did you like Only a Purple Moon? Did you like the one I introduced? Oh my gosh. Forget it.
I don't know all the episode titles, but if you tell me,
it's when I introduced James Darren character.
okay.
And Nog was like so crazed with war. He went into the hologram to escape life, and it was like a Sinatra, "Come blow your horn" kind of echo.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that? And he lived the life of Sinatra, and there's James Darren and living together, and it was called Only a Paper Moon. And
I'm sensing a theme. All these people want to escape or experience a different reality.
But it was such a brilliantly written episode, and introducing James. And I knew James because I was doing 90210, and he was directing 90210. So I'd be prepping, he'd be filming, and then I was directing Melrose. He decided to go back into acting, performing. And I was directing Melrose Place, and they needed a 6-parter and James Darren fit the part. We got him in, so I'm directing James now in Melrose Place. And then a few years later, I'm introducing his character on Star Trek on Deep Space Nine. And there we are pre-recording all his songs. It was a big musical segment in Sinatra's studio at Capitol Records.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, right, bro, right? And I'm sitting there going, I'm this little schmuck from Burbank, California, East LA, and I'm here in the studio with this attached to this incredible talent. It was like really quite an emotional experience.
Now, as you're directing, I know that on the set of Voyager, and I don't know as much about what happened on the set, but I've heard stories on Voyager where they would occasionally prank each other. Did that happen during any of the episodes you directed? And you had to be like, "Come on, guys, we got to get this done." Yeah.
No. I think I did 7 or 8 Voyagers, but no, that never happened there. No, I would have loved it though. By the way, I would have been the first one to love it if that happened.
Yeah, I think somebody when Tim Russ was lying in the
loved him. I hired him on Secret Life of the American Teenager. He played a preacher.
I could see that. He has that presence that's that could be very serene. Yeah. But yeah, somebody was like he was supposed to be lying there in a coma or disabled, and someone went right up to his ear and started singing very loudly, "I feel good." So lots of antics on that set. Speaking of antics on the set, in Happy Days, were there a lot of antics on the set there, or was it like, okay, we very serious, very professional, or were there like times that it was hard to get through a scene because someone was trying to make you laugh so much, or
Yeah. Well, when we started Happy Days, it was like one camera, which was like a movie. Mm-hmm. Not a lot of laughter there. It's like one camera and you're shooting like a film. When they switched it to 3-camera live audience, you had all week to rehearse, all week. that was a party every week. Because not that we worked hard, we knew our lines, but it was just so enjoyable. We were together. It was collaborative every day. It was when you do a one camera film, it's like, well, you're doing your scene from 10 to 12, goodbye. Someone else comes in, they do their scene, goodbye. Here, it's like a play. We're rehearsing a play all week together. So it was that way. And by the way, the first year and a half, first year, we were a moderate hit. Actually, not first year. We came in mid-season. So that mid-season, we were a moderate hit. They picked us up. Full second season, we ended up almost being canceled. We're 48th place. That's when Gary Marshall, Jerry Paris, our director, went to Fred Silverman, who just came over from NBC to ABC. Give us a shot. Let's change the whole show into a sitcom live audience. Literally, totally 180 degrees. That's the year we became #1 in the world. That's the year that's why I'm talking to you today. And that's why it keeps going on every day, every day, every day, every day. That change was the magic forever, evergreen for Happy Days. And so when we had that opportunity, all of a sudden to be together every day, together every week, oh, you bet. We had so much fun together. But more than anything, Gary felt it was very important to have a softball team. He was a sports nut. And in fact, early on, he asked me, do you play softball, baseball? I go, yeah, I happen to be good at softball, baseball. Anyway, he put together a Happy Days team. And the only one who never played was Henry. And I think Ron's brother, Clint Howard, taught him how to pitch. And he ended up being a natural pitcher, great pitcher. So all of a sudden, we'd end the show. We go on an all-nighter for a USO tour to play against the Marines, to play against the Army. And by the way, we hardly ever lost. We were really good. But anyway, he created this team, and Gary felt that you always have the back of your team. You always have the back of your player. You always have, and he thought it would really come back to the set. And it's why we're friends now, 50 years later. We have each other's back. We're not just actors. We're not just, we've been through so much more than just acting in a show. We've been all over the world playing softball. We've been all over the world doing great. We've been all over the world outside of this show that made us even tighter and more connected than just a script. And that's why today, because of Gary, we're one text away from all of us. 50 years later, we're friends, deep friends. And having directed over 300 shows and whatever, it's very, very rare to have that kind of connection with the cast for half a century.
That is incredible. I have to admit, I'm a bit envious, but I do have to add, you just meant you became the #1 show, like the 3rd season. How did that affect like going out in public and people recognizing you? And any crazy stories about that?
Yeah, well, it's so funny. Back then, honestly, I'd hate to be that popular today. I really would hate to be that popular today. It's a whole different environment with the paparazzi and all that. It's $1 billion business. Back then, there was a lot of respect for privacy. The paparazzi wouldn't go to your house. They wouldn't. You actually could have a kind of a somewhat normal life in your area. If you go to where they are, okay, it's free reign, whatever. We get it. But it's true. But if you went into any public place, it was a bit crazy. You know, I mean, it's just you're well known and people, and they get excited, whatever. But that kind of adulation could be incredibly troublesome. But because of Gary Marshall and honestly, Ron Howard too, because Ron was already a big star at the time. The humility and then the clarity of your priorities. Gary said that actually he set it up early. He sat us down and he said, guys, he goes, you're going to be really famous. You're going to have a platform. You're going to be really famous. Really. And guess what? Yeah, in Gary's language, you don't deserve it. He said, you're going to have a light on you because everyone's going to see you. They're going to think you're important. You're not. They think you're important. You got to take your light and shine it on somebody that's doing really something good that needs your light to get the greater good done for other things. And boy, we listen to that. We so listen to that. And it's true. It's like all of a sudden we're getting all this, and we really, truly don't deserve it. We're only getting it because there's a magic across the television. You're playing a character, and everyone sees you. No, it's your priority to go, is to like, look over here, and look who deserves it, and and let this light really help something bigger. And I'll tell you, and if anyone does a documentary on Happy Days, ever, it's not doing a show on Happy Days, it's what came out of Happy Days. There are generations alive today because of that show. Literally. The Heimlich maneuver wouldn't be where it is today without Happy Days. Dyslexia and the understanding wouldn't be there without Happy Days. The disabled access in public streets wouldn't be there without Happy Days. There's so many things that came out of that show that we took this so-called fame, put it over and switched the light to people that are doing something really important and making sure people saw it and listened. That's the documentary of Happy Days. It's an entertaining show, but this show has saved lives. It continues to save lives, and it gave so much good to so many people in so many necessary areas of their life. And what I say today too, and today, what I'm going crazy today, we have back then there were 3 networks, so many stars. Now we have 180 networks, God knows how many influencers, why the hell don't they do the same thing? Do you understand what the progress we can make with just a little bit of selflessness and just honest giving for your platform? If everyone just took their platform, took that little light and went boop over here, in millions of, what could happen for the world? That's raw, man. I saw what happened. I saw what happened with 3 networks. I saw what happened with a cast, and I saw what happened with a mentor like Gary Marshall, motivating us to take responsibility for that light and putting on and switching it over what counts. Get it off you and put it over what counts. And I may be preaching right now, and this is not political, man. It's not. This is not political. This is character of our country. What we need to be.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And one thing that I remember quite well about Happy Days is Pat Morita, ran Arnold's. And yes, there was some comedic interactions, but it was never at his expense. He was treated like a human being. He was not treated, and that's one of the things that I appreciated. He was respected. He would yell at you kids, but
by the way, Pat Morita was my good friend. I directed Pat, believe it or not, in the show after. Pat Morita, are you kidding? You want to talk about breaking the glass ceiling for Japanese or whatever? He did it. It was so funny. We were talking, and during World War II, they put him in one of those camps in America. Okay, he had polio, man, and he's there. He went through, and he is American.
Yeah.
And this guy, what he did, he broke through so many glass ceilings. And anyway, but his first big gig, he gets in Hawaii, and he's going to be, and it was all about survivors of the bombing in Japan, in Hawaii. It was like he went against everyone that was against. Everyone who's against him. He went and did, and that way he was headlining for the show, and he brought them to tears and laughter. All right, and it's so funny. And Pat Morita, another thing. And by the way, that's all Gary Marshall. Gary Marshall saw his brilliance. Anyway, and after Happy Days, he went into Mr. T and Tina because Fred Silverman had ABC at the time. Oh, do this, do that, and it failed. All of a sudden, he's colder than hell. And he's going along, and he gets this audition for Karate Kid. And the director looks at him, and he goes, "Oh my God, this is my guy." And Jerry Weintraub, the producer, said, "There's no way Arnold is going to be the star of my movie. No way." Very famous director, I forgot his name. Anyway, the director goes, "You know something? F him. He made Scott. He made him look a little differently, and do this and do that." And he said, "Do you have a Japanese name?" So they made up a Japanese name for him, and he screen tested him, and he showed the screen test, and Jerry Weintraub goes, "That's my Miyagi. That is my Miyagi." And the director said, "You asshole, that's Pat Morita." And they hired him. And Jerry Weintraub called Pat and said, "I almost made the biggest mistake of my life by not hiring you."
Yeah.
And then it's so funny. I was doing, I forget one show, I was having a hard time, and a showrunner put me on this particular show. And I did, but he says, you owe me. You owe me. You owe me. I go, "Yeah, I do. You have my marker." So, and I'm going along, and I'm doing these very high-end shows. I'm doing all these high-end shows, and he had a falling out, and he was having a hard time, and he got a job on a show that was way below his caliber, but he needed it. And I get this call, "Anson, I need you." I go, "What?" And he told me the name of the show, and I thought, you got to be kidding me. "I need you." Baywatch Hawaii.
Okay.
And I go, "All right, okay, okay, yes, I owe you." But guess what? There's this two-parter, and guess who I got to direct? Pat Morita. And together we had this time in Hawaii where we filmed it, which was magical. I was able to introduce him to my kids at the time, and it ended up being just a wonderful, special, days with this amazing, beautiful man, Pat.
That is great. And yeah, he is. I mean, we still feel his loss today. And I do love the honor that they give him on the new Cobra Kai show. And yeah.
He is. It wouldn't have been without him.
Yeah, his spirit pervades that. And it's part of the success of that show.
But by the way, that I honestly got from my heart, knowing him. It's not his character, but it's not his character, but the heart of the character is Pat. He is like a incredibly heartfelt, kind, emotional, insightful, selfless guy.
That is, again, I have to admit I'm envious because I never got to meet Pat Morita, and you have had that pleasure. And so
Yeah.
I envy you for a lot of things. You've had an incredibly great career and it's not over. You're still you're still working with the wonderful people. Speaking of that, we're kind of a little bit into overtime, but any projects that are coming up that you can discuss or mention?
Well, there's one. It's funny. There's one. My wife is a very prolific writer, and she wrote a major play called Crazy Mama, and it's been financed and pre-Broadway, and we're going to start. It'll be right here in Los Angeles. It's called Crazy Mama. I'm directing. It will premiere March 26th, 2025. Right now, we're waiting for casting with a major personality, major actress, and I feel it's great. It's going back to my theater roots. So I have the honor of directing this, but more than anything, it's very like a lot of things Ron and I and many of us have been involved in. The play is based on mental illness from a real story, but it's got it. But it represents mental illness, but with humor and heart and connection, and a true story of a woman, a young 8-year-old girl who has a wonderful birthday on Sunday. Everything's great, wonderful life. Comes home Monday to get her last piece of birthday cake. And she gets in the kitchen and her mother has a psychotic breakdown. And it takes 40 years, hopefully, to get her back. But through that awful premise, it's so much humor and so much hope and so much love and actually magic. I'm just thrilled to be able to be part of this. And I think it will open up, it will like open up so many doors emotionally for mental illness in all areas, and really help the cause to, bring the help we need. Truly. It's so funny because when we were doing previews of the show, readings of the show, everyone would come up and their mother might not have a psychotic breakdown or whatever, but everyone has something that related to whatever. The tears and the expression and just the relief that I'm not alone, this play caused, is phenomenal. So anyway, I'm so proud to be part of this. It's called Crazy Mama. Hopefully we begin in LA March 26th, and hopefully we'll see you on Broadway.
That would be awesome. I would definitely want to see that. I'm a big fan of Broadway and live theater, and it sounds like it sounds like I'd be bawling my eyes out and laughing at the same time.
I've never seen a play. This is during the readings, which was kind of a staged reading we did. Standing ovations and intermission.
Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah. It's a powerhouse, and I'm just very honored to be part of it. And it's so damn important. It really is. And it's just, it's like Gary Marshall. It's moving forward. It's taking Happy Days and hopefully making things better, shining the light on other areas to make things better,
Which is one of the great things about art is you can use that to highlight things that people really need to be aware of. And mental illness is something people need to really be aware of.
You bet. And that's the purpose. The purpose of art is to inspire. It really is. The purpose of art is to educate, inspire, connect. Everyone takes it and interprets it their own way. But it's a positive interpretation to get to a better place. It really is. That's the purpose of it.
Well, you guys have inspired a lot of people and continue to do so. We're gonna have to wrap up because we're almost out of time, but stick around after I stop the recording. But before you go, anything you'd like to say to your fans?
Well, I can't wait to see you at the event. I mean, come on up. We're signing autographs. We're giving hugs. You know, and I think there might be some. I think dinners, other opportunities to spend time with us. I don't know the exact details of that, but I think go to the website and check it out. But I can't wait to see everybody and and just connect.
And I'm looking forward to connecting with you, and I'm sure a lot of other people are. Thank you so much for spending this time with me.
By the way, you're the best. Honestly, what a great conversation.
Oh, this has been a pleasure for me.
No, but you're very involved with what we're talking about, and you're very educated on media for sure.
Well, it's kind of my job, but it's something I aspire to and admire a lot of people such as you who have just been working on so much and so many wonderful things for so long. But but I really have to thank you, and I do want to thank everyone who's been watching. Please check out Gallatin Comic Con. Again, it's October 26th and 27th in Gallatin, Tennessee, and you get to meet Anson, you get to meet Don, you get to meet Henry, and they have some other great guests too. Mickey Dolenz.
Oh my God. You're going to meet who I'm enamored with, Mickey Dolenz.
Yeah.
The Monkeys. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's a great show.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's going to be a fun time. So if you can make it, please come on down to Gallatin, Tennessee and meet these fine people. And again, thanks everyone for watching. And as always, I want you to have fun and follow your fandom.
Thank you for watching this video. I am Invader Zim, and I traffic in doom. And so, if you do not subscribe to this channel, you will have doom that befalls you by me, Invader Zim.